Oh damn, I am so in love right now. Girl, I mean, I knew she was OP, but damn, this good? Shit. Yo, this is by far the best build you could ask for. Alright, let's get to it. What's good, folks? It's Nightmare Frame here with a new Warframe video, bringing you the most endgame, deadly, juiciest build ever on my new waifu, Gara. Sorry, Saren and Mesa, but damn, this girl got skills. You see this? Woo! The Glass Queen, and in my opinion, one of the best designed tanks in this game. A perfect balance between tankiness and DPS, and the ability to have infinite damage scaling. I mean, what? Yo, this gotta be a joke, right? But this is for real. If I wanted, I can keep on going and go way beyond 4 million damage. But that's absurd. Gara can be played in multiple ways. But if you know me, I love face tanking the crap out of enemies. So you can play her as a barrier tank, a DPS, or run around near enemies and let your Splinter Storm kill things. You can pick up Gara from the Plains of Eidolon bounties, and if you don't want to farm her, just get her from the market. I mean, who's stopping you? Her abilities are revolved around glass, because if not, then it will be kind of weird if the frame does water damage, right? Okay, her first ability, Shattered Lash, is a straight up damage skill. By a quick press of your 1, you do puncture damage, and by holding it down, you do a sweep motion, which does slash damage. And this ability scales with power and melee mods, and is used to shatter your 4, but we'll get to that. Her 2 is just her best ability. This skill allows you to be offensive and defensive at the same time. By casting it on yourself, you get 90% damage reduction. You can also cast it on allies to give them the defense, but screw those guys. Why let them live an extra few seconds while you die instead? Huh. And when you activate your 2, on the bottom right, you'll see the damage it currently has. And this can be scaled by activating your 4 and shattering it with your 1. And this gives you infinite damage scaling. The great thing is that when you cast your 4, you refresh the cooldown of your 2. So it's basically up forever until you forget about it or run into a nullifier bubble, cause yeah, that's a thing. Her 3, Spectral Rage. It's good, but not great against high-level units. So she summons spinning mirrors which attract enemies into them, and they basically attack it upon seeing their own ugly-ass reflection. Her 4, Mass Vitrify. It's supposed to wall off enemies, but true Gara players just cast it to refresh their 2, and they shatter it just to scale the damage on their 2. When you cast this ability, it summons a glass ring barrier all around you that expands down and outwards. You're immune to status effects and invulnerable during this process, but you're also immobile. Enemies who walk through the ring are crystallized and contribute to the health of the barrier. So yeah, power and armor do scale the health of the barrier. That's if you want to play her as a barrier tank. Status effects that were on the enemies won't expire when they become crystallized, but you won't be able to inflict new ones. And the great thing about Gara is that you only need 140% power strength to get that juicy 90% damage reduction. But the damage scaling from Splinter Storm does scale faster with more strength. Since this is a balanced build between tanking and DPS, we don't care much about that. The damage reduction of your Splinter Storm does extend to your shields as well. So if you're taking a Sentinel, the Taxon is one of the best options for Gara because of the mod Molecular Conversion, granting you overshields. And yes, 90% damage reduction does work on overshields. With Arcane Aegis and the mods Molecular Conversion and Guardian, she is pretty beefy. If you're using something like a Kavat, I suggest you to take Arcane Guardian instead of Aegis because it will boost the armor of your Kavat with the help of Link Armor. Gara has an interesting passive where when you stand in bright light, you have a chance to produce a radial blind of 12 meters, which will open up enemies to finishers. And no, it's not affected by range mods. And this blind effect synergies really well with the Redeemer Prime. When the target is blinded and you shoot with the Redeemer, it will count as a stealth attack, giving you those juicy crits. And the Redeemer plus Gara will work really well if you opt to use the range build. Alright, let's get into the build portion of this video. The reason for the low range on this build is because I like to use my melee. Splinter Storm can kill the enemies before I can hit them, which will affect my combo multiplier. But if you're not into the whole melee thing, there's always a range build. This build focuses on duration and tankiness. Swapping out Aegis and Guardian is situational depending on what pet you want to equip for your mission. And my melee of choice is Gara's signature hammer, the Volnus. The Riven can be replaced with a slash or a range mod depending on what build you want to use and if you want to use it. You don't necessarily have to use this melee, but I just use it for the looks and it's pretty decent. Now you're wondering, if she's this good, can she solo the Prophet Taker? Oh yes! She can, ladies and gentlemen, and that's why I am so in love with her right now. With her Splinter Storm active, those nasty melee mobs that stagger you and knock you down are dead before they can even touch you, making a joke out of them. Great crowd control, damage, and her 4 allows you to resist the magnetic procs, because you're invulnerable during the initial cast. Amazing how this frame can pretty much do it all. Alright folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like, share, and subscribe. And as always, peace.